Hello guys, welcome to another training. This one, the topic is adapting your sales pitch for your customer profiles and your customer persona. If you haven't seen the other videos yet, my name is Juliani. I am currently Regional Manager for Isaac in Americas for GE, and I'm here to facilitate this training for you. And just so we can be at the same page, this training is focused on LCVP's OGE. If you are OGV, OGT, IGV, another operation, MCP, MCVP, any kind of position that you have, you are more than welcome to watch. But just to let everyone know that this is focused on LCVP's OGE, okay? So let's start. I don't know if you guys have seen the other videos before, but basically during this whole series of videos, I'm going to focus 100% on October and November because this is our approval peak and it's coming. So it's really, really, really important for you guys to receive tips and things of what can you do in order to improve your results these 2 months. Cool? So let's start with this topic of this theme. So basically during this whole video, I'm going to explain everything, the whole training, giving a lot of examples of my VPOG experience because in 2017 I was VPOG of Isaac in ASPM in Brazil, and to have customer personas and to have your sales pitch really aligned with it, it was something that I used to do all the time with my team, so that's why I'm bringing this topic on the table for you guys. And I think it's also better to give examples and not only like so many theories, because I think with the examples we can understand better and we can learn more, maybe. So that's why I'm going to talk a lot about my VPOG experience now, so you guys can see what I did and maybe do the same thing or get some inputs, insights, whatever you think is right for you and for your LC. Amazing. So let's start. So during my LCP term, I had 3 main personas that I used to work with when with GE. So the first persona, it was a persona that she used to study in a university that we had a partnership with. The basically profile from her, she used to study marketing or advertisement. She was around 19 to 20 years old. She had the availability to stay 8 weeks abroad because she had like a lot of vacation in December and in July. She was from upper class, so she had the financial capacity to actually afford an exchange in maybe more expensive countries in terms of plane tickets and life cost. And also it was a kind of profile that travels a lot, like all vacations they are traveling, they have this culture of traveling and so on because of the university, also because of the parents, also because from the financial class that they come from. And the second persona, she used to study in another university. I'm saying she, and there is like picture of girls because my main persona, they were girls. So basically, they were from the university number 2. I didn't put the names here because it wasn't necessary, but it was from another university. She used to study advertisement, design, or business administration. She was a little bit older, so she was around 20 to 21 years old. She had the availability to stay also 8 weeks abroad. Different from the other one, she was not from upper class, but from upper middle class. And for this person itself, this persona, they used to be really they had a profile that were like really alternative. So they like to do different stuff, they like to photograph, they like to travel, they like to experience new things. So it's a public that usually they were really, really, really I don't know, into new hobbies and new things that they wanted to do. And they also had the availability to travel on December and July because they have these 2 months of vacation. And lastly, we had the persona number 2. So basically, it was the public from 2 universities that I had. Usually the people used to study either BA or engineering. They were a little bit older, so they were 21 or until 23 years old, sorry. They didn't have 8 weeks to travel, actually. They only had 6 weeks, and sometimes not even that, but they found a way to actually stay abroad for 6 weeks. They are from middle class, so really different from the other 2 publics. Like they didn't actually have so much financial capacity to afford an exchange or afford a really expensive country. One thing that is really curious about this persona is that they didn't like their degree. So even though they study engineering, sometimes they didn't want to work with engineering, for example. And they didn't have the July vacation, they only have December. Okay, so I gave you guys the examples of the personas that I used to work with, but also I have what? My IR partners, of course. So during my LCP year, those were my IR partners. So I had Egypt, Peru, Mexico, Greece, and USA. Now USA, they don't run IG anymore, but in the time they used to run it at national level and with the LC of Austin. So basically, why am I telling you guys my IR partners if this is a video regarding profiles? Because if you have talked to me already, probably I said you that when you work with GE, your profile, especially OG, your profile and your IR partners must be really, really, really connected. Why? Because we have different kinds of opportunities, we have different kinds of profiles, we deal with really different people, with different durations, with different interests, with this different sub-products. So that's why it's really important to have everything really aligned. So basically, what I did in my LCP year, I basically got my profiles, my personas, and aligned them to the IR partners that most fitted to their profiles. I'm going to give you guys the examples now so you can understand better what I'm talking about. So, for example, for the persona number 1, since I told you guys that they didn't have like the interest to actually go to really different countries, and they also had the financial capacity to afford a more expensive one, and they studied marketing and advertisement, my IR partners, like the countries that I used to sell to this person, it was Greece and USA. Why? Because all of these reasons that it's written here, basically because of their profile, because of their interest, because of everything. And sometimes, like if I sold Egypt for this person, or if I sold Mexico, Peru, or any other country, even though these countries are amazing, they didn't want to go there because they didn't have the interest. They had a feeling of that they wanted to go either to Europe or either to US. And since they have the profile to do it, like they had really good CVs, they studied marketing and advertisement. So these two countries, they had opportunities in these two products for them. It was a perfect supply for them. So that's one. The second one, like I said, I told you guys that this person, these people, they used to be really alternative. They like new stuff and things like that. So I said, okay, maybe Egypt is the perfect supply for them because it's different. No one ever thinks about going to Egypt, and it's amazing. So maybe I'm going to sell Egypt for them because it's going to be new, it's going to be different, and they really like to discover and explore different things. So that's why Egypt was my main focus for this kind of persona, because they had the profile for it. Also, they study advertisement, design, and BA, which are usually the kind of opportunities that Egypt already has. And the third one, which is the persona number 3, one thing about this persona is that, as I told you guys, they used to be from middle class, so they didn't have the financial capacity to go to Egypt, for example, which the plane ticket is really hard from Brazil to Egypt, because I was VP in Brazil. So I used to sell them countries in Latin America, because those were the plane tickets were the most cheap. So it was really, 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 really good, because I could actually align the profile that they had with the opportunities that the two countries used to offer. Because at the same time, as I said, it's a kind of persona that they didn't like their degree. So it's not like I was going to sell engineering opportunities for them. Actually, I would sell BA opportunities, because they had the background of, even though they had the background of engineering, they still had the interest and had some experience sometimes in BA. And these two countries, they offered BA opportunities, so it was really, really good, because we could align the fact that the EP didn't have the financial capacity of actually going to a place where he cannot afford the plane tickets, and at the same time, like, he could actually find a place that is really aligned to its background and his interest. So that was really, really good. Okay, why are you saying that this is really not useful for me? I'm going to explain you exactly why I separated my profiles and IR like this. So basically, I told you guys about my personas, about my IR partners, and so on, but something that I think it's really, really important to do for each persona is to elaborate these 3 things. So I think it's really, really important to first elaborate your marketing message, your elevator pitch, and the common objections. Sorry, it's not written the right way. It's objections, not objective. I'm going to fix it for the PPT version of this call. So these 3 main things, I think it's extremely important for you also to set with your personas. I'm going to explain you why I want to mean with that. So, for example, for the persona number 1, it's really important for you to have one marketing message for them, an elevator pitch, the common objections, from this person, and based on everything, based on her profile, based on the opportunities that the country offers, based on the marketing message, the elevator pitch, and the common objections, you should create your sales pitch based on that. And do the same thing for all the suppliers, for all the personas that you have. I'm going to give you guys the example now so you can understand better what I'm talking about. So, an example. Let's get my persona number 2 when I was LCDP OGE. Get this persona and let's create all of these things for Egypt, okay? Because remember that for this persona, I used to sell Egypt or Mexico. So let's get the example for Egypt. So the marketing message for this person, it was come to work to have an international startup immersion. Why we used to use these words to refer GE? Because first, like if I told you this person the word professional experience or internship, she wouldn't it wouldn't call her attention so much, because as I said, it was a kind of public that liked to explore and do new things and so on. So that's why the word immersion, it was good for them, because it was like, oh my God, what is immersion? You know, like we got to make like a sense of curiosity on this person. So it was really, really good, because they actually could get interest on that and not only be like, oh, it's a professional experience. No, it's an immersion, you know, something cool. And the elevator pitch, basically, just to quickly explain what's an elevator pitch if you don't know it. Imagine that you are in an elevator, and in the moment that you are going either up or down with someone, you have to basically sell something for this person, you know. So basically, it's like a quick sales speech that you're gonna talk to your customer about. So for GE and for Egypt and for this persona specifically, we used to say, you have a startup immersion abroad in order to explore your professional skills and experience an entrepreneurial and a dynamic environment. Also, you get the chance to discover a totally different culture like Egypt. Have you ever met someone who has worked for 8 weeks in a startup in Egypt? Why we are using this elevator pitch? Because this person likes to make some things different. It's someone that has a lot of hobbies. It's someone that has the financial capacity of going to Egypt because they have the money too. It's someone that study advertisement, so they are pretty cool and alternative, and they like to discover new things. So something that I want to highlight for you guys is these words and sentences that sometimes we use. So for example, as I said already, we didn't use professional experience, but we use startup immersion. Again, we use the word discover, we use the word explore, we used to use like these words that call the attention of the customer regarding to its profile. Also, we finalize the elevator pitch by asking the question, have you ever met someone who has worked for 8 weeks in a startup in Egypt? So the person can be like, oh my God, I don't know, because this is really, really cool. It's really different. I don't know anyone that goes to Egypt to work in a startup and to have a startup immersion, you know? So that's why I'm telling you guys, it's really important for you guys to align your speech to what your customer actually needs to, and also to that is really aligned to the IR partner that you're selling. And lastly, but not least important, it's really important as well for you to understand what are the common objections. Again, I'm sorry, the common objections that this person is actually telling you about why does she not want to go to this country. So maybe, not maybe actually, we used to face that a lot. Something that the person used to say for us, this persona specifically, she used to say, I don't have money to stay 10 weeks abroad without receiving a salary. Or she used to say, Egypt is really dangerous for women. I don't have money. Egypt's expensive. My parents might not let me go. And then we had to understand, like, okay, what are the fears that my customer is having, and how can I, during my sales speech, actually have the right arguments to actually talk to this person and explain to her that no, Egypt is not expensive. Actually, just the plane tickets, yes, it is expensive, but then when you get to the country, it's really cheap. So actually, you won't spend much money, or your parents don't let you go. Okay, so let's have a meeting, like a physical meeting with your parents, so we can talk to them and we can understand what are their fears and so on. So, as I said, like based on the excuses, or it's not even excuses, just the fear of the customer. Based on the fears and the objections that the customer has, it's really important for you to create your sales speech based on that. So for each one of those excuses and arguments and objections and whatever the customer said to you, like, okay, I don't want to go because of this, you should create your sales pitch, and you should create the arguments that going to help you to actually communicate with the customer and to make them feel, okay, now I understood that maybe this objection is not the best because you just said, I don't know, that Egypt is not expensive. So, okay, I don't have this objection anymore. Now I feel more, I don't know, excited to go to Egypt. You know what I mean? So my highly recommendations for you guys to do that. And just to recap, and to close the video, because I don't want it to be super, super long for you guys. So first, it's really important for you guys to have one sales pitch per persona and per supply. So for example, you should have, I don't know, one sales pitch for the persona number 2 for Egypt. But at the same time, you should have another sales pitch for the persona number 2 and for Mexico, for example. At the same time, you should have another sales pitch for the persona number 1, but with Peru. You know what I mean? It's not just for the personas, and it's just not just for the supplies, but it's for both together. Secondly, it's really important for you guys, as I said, to think about all the objections that your EP will have for each supply based on their profile, and create arguments for them so you can talk to them and make them understand that, like, doing a GE, it's amazing, and they shouldn't be scared because you have the right arguments for them. Thirdly, it's really important that your marketing message and your elevator pitch, they must be really different for each persona, because, for example, I said that the persona number 2, they really liked when we used to say international startup immersion. But for the persona number 1, what happened was, this kind of persona, they study in a university that the university itself is really focused on working and internship and professional experience and developing yourself professionally. So for this person itself, the marketing message wouldn't be immersion, but it would be international startup professional experience. Have a professional experience in a startup abroad. So we used to say the word and the sentence professional experience instead of immersion, because for this person, the number 1, it was more important for them. You know what I mean? And the same thing for the elevator pitch. And I think it's the most important one, since you are LCPs, you manage a team, you manage people, and those are the people that are actually talking to the customer every day. So you should track what your members are actually saying and talking to the EPs, because maybe they are not using the right sales pitch or the right argument to actually make the EP apply and make the EP get accepted. And maybe that's why your conversion apply to open to apply, sign up to apply is not the best one. Have you ever thought on that? Yeah, it's good to check. So it's really important to track your members, because you are the LCP, and if you constantly do that, I'm pretty sure that your conversions are going to increase and you're going to achieve your goals. Cool? So guys, this is it. I don't want to keep it too long. If you have any questions, you can talk to me. This is my WhatsApp, and this is also my email if you want to approach me. And thank you so much. Let's have a lot of approvals for Americas in GE in October and November and forever. Thank you.